Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Talk of the Town podcast. This is your host, Matt Brown here. I hope everyone's having an amazing Wednesday morning. It'll be afternoon by the time this is uploaded, but still, I know I had a little bit of a busy morning this morning. I was studying again for my stockbroker's exam. Again, I still plan on doing that. That's a passion of mine. And this is like my full-on passion right here. I mean, not being a stockbroker or anything, but this is me. This is some of my dream that I had since a little kid, being a sportscaster, stuff like that. I'm doing this, you said, for the rest of my life. Literally, I just been wanting to get started, and I finally got it. So, just blessed to be here, man, and having you guys support me on these videos. Again, the amount of support I've had from you guys over the last couple of days has just been incredible. Trust me, I notice every little bit of it. And I cannot thank you guys enough. You guys mean the absolute world to me, seriously. And it's just been unbelievable. Thank you guys so much. Seriously, I can't even put in words. But today, let's get into what today's video is about. It is our first Why Not Wednesday on this channel. Why not answer any questions you guys have for me? You guys really came through this week. Honestly, I was kind of only expecting to get like couple questions maybe, and then have to talk about another topic or two on the podcast. I got a full video of questions to do here. I again, thank you guys so much. I did not expect that at all. So yeah, let's start off with this here. This one's not necessarily a question, but a close friend of mine left this on a video, or commented this on a video of mine that I wanted to answer because I thought it was a pretty bold take. He said, I got the Packers winning the NFC North this year. Thinking Love has a close to MVP caliber season. I started to talk on that a little bit. I think the Packers could absolutely win the NFC North. I think they'll be fighting for it week to week. I think the last couple of weeks we'll be talking is Detroit or Green Bay going to win the NFC North. I think it's going to be Detroit personally. They have guys coming back off the injury list. Hutchinson, and it's not just like guys who kind of play, just an average role. And these are like superstar players coming back. So I know they lost Ben Johnson, but they still have Dan Campbell, who's literally the heart and soul of the city. And, he provided. Well, I wouldn't even use the word provide. I don't even know if there was a pulse before Dan Campbell, but that team has a lot of really good talent. And again, I think the only thing that concerns me a little bit with the Packers is that they went 1-5 in the division last year. They had a 1-5 divisional record. But to even go, what were they, 10-7, 11-6? No, I think they were 10-7. Correct me if I'm wrong. But to even make the playoffs going 1-5 in the division is pretty incredible. Like they're not going to do it. Even if they go 3-3 in the division, if they were at 10 wins, they'll be the 12 wins. I mean, they're going to be an extremely competitive football team. One thing that worries me with the Packers a little bit is their secondary. Losing Jair Alexander really is tough. Even though he's been extremely injury prone over the last couple of years. When he plays, there's not a lot of corners better than him. So that's a little bit of a tough loss for Green Bay. Their offense is just going to be humming. Jordan Love was hurt for a bit of He was playing through an injury like all of last year. He got hurt in that terrible Brazil game that they should never play another game there ever again. Of course, they are this year, but yeah. And then Love, you think Love's going to have an MVP caliber season? I could definitely see that. He stays healthy. He has some weapons there. They don't necessarily, unless Matthew Golden turns into like a true number one, they're still lacking on weapons a little bit. I think he'll be a good receiver, but they just have all around talent. So he has no shortage of talent. And again, I've never been that guy to think you need a Justin Jefferson to be good, to be MVP caliber, because I don't think you do to just win games. You don't, unless you're, I know I got on the Chargers a little bit yesterday, although I do think the Chargers will be in the playoffs. So they're just not a top 10 team. A lack of weapons definitely kind of hurts your stats for sure. I don't know if he's going to toss as many touchdowns as he would, or if he were to have Jamar Chase. I think that's just kind of like an obvious fact. But he does have a lot of really good weapons. And he's a gunslinger. Like it seems like 5 or 6 times more than that during the game, he's just throwing a 50-yard pass out of the field on a run. So he's a lot of big play potential that turns into that looks really good on the stat sheet. Again, if Matthew Golden works out, he stays healthy. Their offensive line, they re-signed Zach Tom a couple of days ago. Yeah, I could see it. Again, I don't think he's going to, even though you're not saying he's going to win MVP, but have an MVP caliber season, I agree. But he's just still not on the class with the Burrows, the Allens, the Lamars, Mahomes. He's that tier below to me. So I think he will be top 10 on MVP, Cody. I completely agree with you, though. Except I just have no lines, but it will be competitive. So, yeah. All right. Next question. Hey, Matt. Hope you're doing good, bro. Glad to see you starting your own sports show. My question is, how do you think the Orioles turn around their season this year and keep their future alive? Let me think. I haven't talked about the Orioles yet on this podcast. I'm surprised. The Orioles, to me, I think they're going to fall just short. I think they're going to have a better second half. But again, Rodriguez was supposed to come back. Guess what he's not doing? Now he's having an imaging of his shoulder or his elbow. You know, when your best players just aren't playing, or like Adley's not really performing to expectations, it's tough. It's tough. And like I said, I think they're going to have a better second half. But I don't know if they're necessarily going to turn it around. I think they should have been a little more active at the trade deadline. I think they could have maybe made a little more offers, but I don't know. I think the whole thing with this season at this point is people aren't necessarily talking about the players. They're just talking about Mike Elias and the ownership at this point, which is completely understandable. The Mike Elias thing is starting to get a little crazy. And I've kind of sided with Mike Elias on some things. I still do a little bit. But again, when I looked up a statistic the other day, or my dad actually pointed it out, but I was going to look it up. Anyway, they've drafted one pitcher in 6 years in the first round. And what's the constant issue for the Baltimore Orioles? Even though they're having some hitting slumps and some cold streaks, the pitching crew, they don't have enough pitchers. And while it seems like they got away with the Corbin Burns thing, like I flagged them for not re-signing him. It's still, they take guys that are like such low ceilings, and they just never really pan out. And Grayson never plays. What are they? They're about to trade their closer. Literally, Hernan or Felix. Yeah, I can't think of his last name. Sorry, I'm blanking out. You know, they're just not active enough in the trade deadline. They got to spend more money. I know it sounds simple, but it's just the truth. That's why the fans get on them so much. It's because they just don't do enough. They don't take that next step into being the World Series roster, the World Series team, to be able to compete. They're just that notch below, and they're not taking that next step. They keep doing the same thing, drafting 2 catchers this year, which I think Adley's gone. He's underperforming anyway. He'll be gone in a couple of years, and they're not going to pay him a ton of money. Teams will, because how do you think the Rockies would feel to have Adley Rutschman on their team? They're going to the Orioles are not going to pay him $250, $300 million. I don't know if anyone's going to pay. I don't know what his contract worth is going to be in a couple of years. I don't. But yeah, I don't know. I think the main telltale one for me is going to be the Gunnar Henderson contract. If they don't re-sign Gunnar Henderson, I hope Rubenstein sells the team. I think, you know what, you bought the team and told the fans the pocketbooks are open. You know, the wallet's open, the bank is open. And you're not spending money. I mean, players are just leaving left and right. Kyle Stowers, what a disaster that's been for Baltimore. He had like 3 home runs against them like last week or something. And he's been one of the best hitters in baseball. I mean, who could have necessarily predicted that? But they got nothing out of it. And to keep their future alive, yeah, basically what I just said, you have to re-sign your key players. You have to draft well. You have to stop being stubborn and draft in the first round, pitchers in the first round. It almost seems like Mike Elias is trying to prove people wrong and not draft pitchers in the first round. Like, I don't know if that's just me, but it kind of seems like it, because there's no reason for him not to. There's guys there, and they're drafting talented players, but it's not for the positions they need. It's just, it doesn't, you know, I can draft 100 receivers in the first round. That's great. I got the best receiving room in football. Like, not 100. You guys know what I mean. A ton of receivers. I draft receivers in the first round, back to back years. And I don't have a quarterback. I don't have an offensive line. You know, the Orioles, they have a great hitting crew. They have good fielders, but they don't have any pitchers because they don't draft any. They draft everyone else. I don't know. We'll see. I think the Orioles are going to fall just short this season. They have this off season is going to be the biggest sign for the Orioles' future. So we'll see. Next question. If you could rank your top 10 players of all time in the NBA, who would it be? Good luck with the pod. Thank you. So, I just want to say this, and I know it seems like I'm dissing. Most people will not know who this player is, but I've been seeing the top 100 NFL or NBA players list, and Bill Sharman, he's on there over a lot of players. Like Dwight Howard. Bill Sharman is not better than Dwight Howard. And I think he's ranked like 2 spots above Tatum. Yeah. No. I don't know. I know it sounds like a diss, but like, dude, so some of the players they got on there are just, it's just crazy. Respect to the legends, but damn, man. You're telling me if you do an all-time NBA draft, you're putting the heart and soul of your franchise in Bill Sharman over majority of players. I don't think so. So at number 10, I have Hakeem Olajuwon. What if people recognize his greatness and he's in like every single top 15 list, but he's not talked about enough with the Shaqs and stuff. And he beat Shaq in the finals. I think he swept him, actually, the matter. I know it was younger Shaq, but like they were in the finals. Shaq was still Shaq. I think Hakeem doesn't get talked about enough for his greatness, I feel like. He's one of the more underrated top 10 all-time players of all time, for sure. You know, I mean, it's still pretty damn great to be on the top, pretty much everyone's top 15, but people just don't give Hakeem his respect, I feel like. Number 9, I have Larry Bird. If Larry Bird were to play today, he'd average 35 a game. Easily, with the changes in the defense, his offensive skill, he's seriously like, I have him as one of, if not the greatest offensive player ever, just skill-wise. You know, he was not the most athletic player ever. Of course, I never like watched him play live, of course. But, you know, I've done enough research just watching Larry Bird. He's just, I'm trying to think of the word. I can't think of the word. He's very underappreciated. People, the big comparison with Larry Bird today is Kevin Durant. People say Kevin Durant wipes the floor with Larry Bird. I don't even have Kevin Durant on my top 10 list. Larry Bird is a better passer, better three-point shooter. Now, he's not necessarily a better offensive creator than Kevin Durant. Like, as a scorer as a whole, I mean, KD's one of, if not the best ever. Like, I get it. But, man, I wish Larry Bird played today's NBA. He'd average like 35 a game. Seriously. You know, he'd have hard, like crime hard numbers. 8, I have Steph Curry. Again, Steph Curry's greatness throughout this era, like everyone knows. He's been him and LeBron are 1A and 1B this century or this decade. And Steph Curry's still doing it at 36. It's not that LeBron ain't doing it at 40 something, but yeah, Curry. Again, the only thing that ranks a little lower for me is just the super teams. But I mean, you can necessarily kind of say that with all of these guys on here because they had to have paired up with someone or had a super team at some point. But again, the KD, the Draymond, that roster, the one like when they went against Toronto in the finals, that's going into that season. Curry, Clay, KD, DeMarcus Cousins, and Draymond Green, and that was like still prime Boogie too. Boogie Cousins, even though he was hurt and then he was starting to kind of fade away. Dude, the beginning of the year, crazy. They just had like KD was out, Clay was out by the end of the season. Yeah, they would have swept through the finals easily. That probably would have been the best team ever assembled. It was insane. All right, number 7, I have Kobe Bryant. I see Kobe Bryant like off of a lot of people's top 10 lists. And I just feel like I get it to an extent. Like Kobe, I don't want to use the word ball hog because it's just everyone kind of associates the word ball hog with Kobe, his teammates, everything. Like he kind of was. But like, look at the guys today. Like James Harden on the Rockets was a freaking ball hog. Like you talk about ball hog. Yeah, James Harden. And people talk about it, but they don't talk about it as much as Kobe Bryant. Like they literally take Kobe Bryant off the top 10 list because of that. Man, Kobe, I can understand if Kobe didn't win any championships without Shaq, but he went on to win 2 more. With he still had Pau Gasol and talented rosters, Ron Artest, and guys like that, Derek Fisher. Like he had a really good roster, Phil Jackson. But Kobe was by far and away the best player on his teams. Like Kobe is an LA Lakers legend. You got to put him at 7. You got to put him in the top 10. 6, I have Tim Duncan, the most underappreciated superstar of all time. Man, Tim was boring as hell to watch, but he got it done. The master of the bank shot. Just a winner. Just an all-around winner. You know, playing with Parker and Ginobili. You know, they had him just well coached with Popovich. Yeah, great organization at the time. Coming in under David Robinson's wing when he first came in. You know, he came into a really good situation. But just as a player, I mean, he was boring. Don't get me wrong. But, you know, the big fundamental man, that's what they call him. That's his nickname. For sure. I mean, if he won another 2 championships, he'd be a GOAT toss. There's no doubt about it to me. Like another 1 or 2 championships. Man, he was the man. Number 5, I have Magic Johnson. I do think he's better than Steph Curry. And I think it would be less of a debate if Magic didn't get AIDS and left the game for a little while. That just kind of killed his momentum. Dude, the beginning of his career, again, like if he didn't miss that, he'd be in GOAT talk. Just 5 championships. I mean, a ton of accolades, awards. I know he played with Kareem. You have to just watch him to just know how good he is or was. It's just Magic to me is just that much better than Steph Curry and the guys I've previously named on the list. Again, a lot of, especially the younger generation now, just watches Steph and doesn't even put Magic in the conversation. They were 2 completely different, like just different players. They were just 2 different players. And what Magic did was 100 times better than Curry. Well, I don't know. Let me not go that far. The passing and everything. Curry's a great passer, but Magic just has it down lock. He's the best. But it goes the other way. Curry's a way better 3-point shooter. 4 has Shaq. Again, Shaq's the most dominant player ever. Just even him winning that championship without Kobe on the Heat kind of that solidified his legacy. Shaq is just, dude, it's just a freaking nature. I don't know if we'll ever see another player like Shaq again. Shaq couldn't shoot. Shaq couldn't do any of that. He just bullied 7+ foot grown men and like literally embarrassed them on the court. And he'd get triple teamed and you just couldn't put a handle on him. It was nuts. That's why I have him up that high, because I don't think we'll ever see another player like Shaq. And if we do, will they be to the extent of what Shaq was? I don't think so. So I have Kareem. Kareem's my greatest center ever. The hook shot is just insanely iconic. Him having a shot like that and having as many points as he did in a non-3-point shooting era. I get people say the competition he went against. I get it, but he still went against. Sorry about that. Here, I think my knee on my desk, but yeah, I don't know. Kareem is just incredible. It really is. The championships, the accolades, again, everything. You just say that for all these players. He's just a tad bit better than me. 2, I have Jordan. 1, I have LeBron. I'm not going to go into those right now. I'll have to go debate for another video, but I get it with the championships. LeBron, Jordan. Man, LeBron had to go against the Warriors, though. Jordan ain't 6-0 against the Warriors. I'm going to leave it at that. I am. I have to, because people are going to just be on me like no tomorrow. All right. Another question. I have a question. And maybe you can answer on one of your Why Not Wednesdays. It's about the Ravens. I've seen a lot of mixed reactions on D-Hop going to the Ravens, including people saying he is washed and he won't help at all. And also people saying he is just what the team needs in the receiving arm. What is your opinion on this? And how do you think he will do for Baltimore? I think D-Hop's a great acquisition to the team. While he's not Texans D-Hop, even Cardinals D-Hop, which was smack dab in his prime, still DeAndre Hopkins. Just having him there, just his presence alone is going to mix up the defense. He's the receiver the Ravens have needed for the majority of Lamar's career. The big, tall, go up and grab it, just strong hands guy. D-Hop's never been the fastest guy in the room, or necessarily the best route runner, but he has the best hands and best catching ability, and just go up and grab it. The Ravens haven't really had that throughout Lamar's career. They signed Des Bryant when he was ancient. Deshaun Jackson, and Deshaun Jackson never go up and grab it. He just run down the field and throw it home. I guess you could say something about D-Hop, just throw it up to him, but I think D-Hop, he could easily have over 700, 800 yards. He's going to be a red zone threat for the Ravens, which is what they need. They just need more of him with Bateman, Zay Flowers. That's going to be a hell of a receiving room. That's a really good receiving room. That's what Rashad Bateman took last year. Really is going to help D-Hop, because if Rashad Bateman was still just like not very good, D-Hop would have a lot more pressure. D-Hop's the third receiver on that team, which helps a ton. He's not going to have the main cornerback on him. Just throw it up to him, grab it. D-Hop's going to get it. He's always going to be able to do that. He just has incredible hands. So I think that's a very good pickup for Baltimore. I think he'll be very good. I think he'll be better than what OBJ was when he went to Baltimore. I mean, he's two seasons out of a 1,000-yard season with the Titans. I mean, I know he went to the Chiefs and had decent quarterback play, but when you go to a team in the middle of the year, it just throws you off. The Titans at the beginning of the year were just the number 1 overall pick. That tells you all you need to know. It's out there having just relentless throw to him. So yeah, D-Hop, I think it's going to be very good for Baltimore. And my last question today: is there any struggles you've had starting your podcast, whether it's mental or things like editing? What have been some ups and downs starting for you? Okay. Let me pull back up your question. So, all right. Okay. The only struggle I've really had I'm trying to think. I love doing this so much, but it's just kind of hard getting it started. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's just nerve wracking trying something you've never done and you're afraid it's going to fail. Like, and I know this isn't going to fail because anything, I don't care what you do over time. If you do it consistently, it's going to pay off. Everything's about consistency. If I were to stop this tomorrow, I'd be at 30 subscribers. You know, people are viewing my stuff and everything. You know, you have to build your following. You just do. And that takes time. You know, Rome wasn't built in a day. You see how beautiful all that shit is. They could have just stopped at the beginning of it. None of that would ever have been there. We would never even know how beautiful any of that would have ever been. Everything just takes time and work and effort. So but you get nervous because you don't want it to fail, but you know consistency is not going to make it fail, if you get what I'm saying. Everything's just about the work you put into it in life. And if you have a passion for it, like this, I have intense drive and crazy passion to do it. It's not going to fail because I'm not going to stop. But again, it's just more of a mental game than anything. Editing, I'm really learning how to edit. You know, luckily I have an app called Podcastle. They help me out like crazy with the AI, the AI audio editing, some of the video stuff. Again, it really, really helps. I went to go edit my first TikTok video, my Instagram Reels. I struggled with that a little bit yesterday. My girlfriend helped me with that because I was struggling a little bit. So she helped me kind of just get it straight, and we just moved along. It's more about just learning. It's just learning as you go along. Like, I'm learning every single time I do this. So yeah, I'm telling you, if you guys are out there and you're wanting to get something started, just go and do it. Because again, my dad gave me advice on this, and it's just true. If you're waiting for the right time to start something, it's never going to come. And it isn't. Like, it isn't. Life is just always going to constantly throw stuff your way. You know, just go out and do it. Just don't let those little voices in your head tell you, you know, you can't do this, you can't do that. Don't ever hold yourself back, because you guys are capable of doing literally anything. I promise. It's just about the effort and the consistency you put in. It's all going to pay off. All right. Well, that is it for my questions right now for Why Not Wednesday. I hope, or if you have more questions, or if you have questions you want to send in for next Wednesday, fire in as many as you have. Don't be shy. I don't care what you ask me. Ask me anything. I'll answer it on the show. I'm some of the stuff you can't ask me because I can't answer it. But yeah. So that's it for today's podcast. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you again. Thank you to everyone who's been supporting me over the last couple of days. It's just literally leaves me speechless. I'm trying to think of stuff to say, and it just leaves me speechless. You guys mean the world to me. Thank you guys for coming out, and I hope everyone has a great day. And I'll see you guys on the next one.